And let's go live. Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Mike, your co host of Saturday Morning Multifamily Unplugged, and I am excited today. Hey, how's everybody doing out there? Listen, Saturday Morning Multifamily Unplugged is your raw, unscripted radio show where we dig into today's events, talk about multifamily, and talk about how to mitigate your way through the market today and be conservative in your underwriting and all the things that get into that. Today, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to be outside the box. We have a special guest today. We're joined by Josh Clifford with Free Water. Hey, Josh, say hi real quick to our guests.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Mike. Hey, Carl. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. Thanks for being here. And let me not forget, I am so sorry I didn't even introduce my co-host yet this morning. Moose, what's up?
How are you, Mike? I knew you'd get around to me sooner or later.
I'm good. Hey, listen, I am really I'm really excited for you because I know that over the last few months you have been working really hard on this certification for the Napoleon Hill Foundation.
Yeah.
And how much that means to you. And, you know, what I've really seen in you is just really a shift in how you've really rolled your sleeves up and buried your head in. And my hat's off to you because I think that, you know, I know as you accomplish that's going to be a great thing for you moving forward and using in your business. So,
yeah, thanks for that acknowledgement, Mike. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I'm very excited about it. But we can talk more about that at some other time.
Yeah, you know, maybe we should sometime just do a show, me and you, about that because that's a big deal, that thing. So next time we have one of those guests that decides not to show up on us, right?
Right.
That happens a couple of times, but
right.
Hey, every week Moose and I are here, and we bring you some great events. So what I want you to do right now is please go wake somebody up, would you? Go stick a cup of coffee in their hand, give them breakfast in bed, whatever it's going to take to get them over here to listen in. A little bit of housekeeping stuff. Remember to please like us and love us. Go out on social media, whether you follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever your favorite place is. Please go like us, love us, help our ratings, help this grow. Subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to this broadcast, and we will be here and bring you that relative content every Saturday morning. So, without further ado, let's get right into the matter of things this morning. Again, we are joined by Josh Cliffords. Josh is with Free Water. Josh, you know, there's probably a lot of people that are scratching their head right now going, free water? What the heck are we going to talk about free water about here? But you know what? I want you to get into it. Let's talk a little bit about who you are first, Josh, and how, you know, your background and how you got into free water before we even talk about what it is. But tell us about you and yourself, would you? And welcome. I'm glad that you're here this morning.
Thanks for having me, you guys. Yeah, I think I have a little bit different background than most. Really self-taught. Started investing my own money in Microsoft when I was the age of 9 years old. And so that kind of, now that I'm 36, it's given me a vast experience with different markets and got into crypto early. And yeah, so long story short, back in 2015, my wife and I launched a nonprofit organization in Europe called Save the Refugees. There was, it made the news all the time. There was, you know, 1 million plus people that crossed that continent. People are still crossing it every day. It just doesn't make the news. And so we made a nonprofit in Eastern Europe, and we gave food, water, clothing, toys, and medicine to more than 10,000 refugees. And the ones that spoke English or Spanish, I would sit down and ask them, hey, tell us your story. Why are you here? And you know, unfortunately, the vast majority of them were on the move because we bombed their country to the ground for the most part. But I found that about 15 or 20% of these people said that they were migrants because their country didn't have access to water or food. Some of these people living in rural areas, they said that they got to walk 6 hours each way carrying a stick and bucket on their backs. And then they show up to the water well, you fill up the water, you lug it home, you get home, then your sibling goes. And it's this never-ending relay race of bringing water that you obviously use for everything, from cooking, eating, bathing, drinking, farming. Your mom and your sisters are there purifying it. And one day you show up to the water well and it dried up because of global warming, or someone's standing there with a gun and you don't have access to water anymore. And next thing you know, got you and your family and your most valuable possessions, and you're walking across the world. And after hearing that story thousands of times, and it's been more than a year of volunteering, really just wanted to do something about it. And so, so yeah, it's a bit counterintuitive, but here it is. So we've recently launched what will become the world's first free supermarket, or a free Amazon. Amazon's first product with books, and ours is free water. And our spring water comes in paper cartons and aluminum bottles, and it's free because the packaging is the ad space. And when you've got that free water, free beer, free whatever in your hand in the future, the exchange is that it's covered in that advertising. And so if you feel like it, let's say there's an advertisement for Apple on there, you could scan that QR code with your smart device to collect coupons, watch videos, engage with augmented reality, or you could download music, movies, TV shows, video game software. You could purchase that computer right off the packaging. And so it's actually a new type of media and e-commerce platform, which actually makes it more profitable and a much more eco-friendly to give people free products in the future as opposed to paying for them today.
Wow. You know, the thing that amazed me about what you just, kind of talked about here was, I think that we take it for granted in our own world how people walk through life, and you can walk to the sink, grab a glass of water, you can walk in the grocery store, buy a bottle of water, and people take that for granted. But if you're if you're somebody who listens to somebody talk and you can picture in your mind what they're saying, I want you to think back about what Josh just said about somebody walking with a stick and two buckets over their shoulder. And a lot of times people think, hey, we just see that on TV, or that's just for the movies. But it's not just for the movies. This really goes on. When you talk about somebody standing by a well with a machine gun and not allowing you to get your water after you've walked 8 or 12 miles to go get that water, what's your day like now?
Yeah. Years ago, I was in the wind energy business in the Caribbean, and it's kind of crazy because in the Caribbean, the two biggest problems is energy and water. And you can produce water if you have energy, but that struck me as just a little bit crazy. And yeah, we live in Chicago. Mike and I live in Chicago. We're on Lake Michigan. 1/5 of the world fresh water is right here, and yeah, we definitely take it for granted. So hats off to you, Josh. That's really great that you're helping people.
It's not just a foreign issue, because as we advertise and the word gets put out, people from all around the United States have been reaching out. Everyone heard that obviously Flint, Michigan, as you guys, they had their problems, but a lot of people reach out and say, hey, I live in Colorado, and we have to drive 90 miles in order to get our water because you can't trust anything coming from the tap. And so it's not just that foreign thing. It's a local problem here too, especially as our larger cities start to degrade and break down, and those pipes that were put in 60 years ago need to be replaced.
Wow.
And so, but most importantly, almost forgot, like our why is, 10 cents from every beverage is donated to charity to build water wells for people in need. And so the beauty is when you do the math, one day when just 10% of Americans are saving money in drinking our free product, we will have donated enough money that year alone to solve the entire global water crisis. And so it's counterintuitive, because by giving people like us, middle class, upper middle class, upper class free products that donate to charity, the amount of money that you could contribute is staggering. And so we started with water. After that, we'll be scaling into reusable water bottles, soda, beer, and then groceries.
So Josh, obviously you're an entrepreneur, because as an entrepreneur, you have to have that mindset in order to go start a nonprofit. I don't think that you can just start a nonprofit and go try and raise money or be innovative. You've got to have that capacity of being an entrepreneur. And so obviously you've penciled that comment out, because you just said, we believe we can conquer the world water crisis. Obviously you've penciled that out somehow. Walk through what that looks like.
Yeah, totally. Number one, just, you know, set things straight. Our nonprofit in the past to help with refugees, we were a nonprofit. Free Water, or Better Than Free, the parent company, we're Delaware C Corp. We're a for-profit. There's a lot less red tape, and it's a lot easier, and in my opinion, to do the right thing and to help people than to go that nonprofit route. And also, if you make a donation to a nonprofit, at best, you typically get a 50% tax write-off. But if somebody pays for our advertising medium as a for-profit endeavor, that's 100% tax write-off. So the business owner ends up with more as us being a for-profit as well. And so, yeah, there's answer your question, there's 800 million people that don't have access to water today around the world. Some of these people have the water, they need a filter. Other people, they need to break ground, they need to build water wells. A lot of other people have built a water well, but unfortunately they didn't dig the piping deep enough, or they didn't use high quality enough materials, and they're breaking. And so if you take that number 800 million and you start dividing that by a really high-end cost of a well, 25K to 30K to 40K, you end up with a number that's less than $10 billion. And you know, 10 billion and less, we're talking about a large number here, but not really when you think about the money we've been printing lately. But so then the key is just having a fast turnover rate, and being thirsty is one of those problems that people obviously have all the time. And so our goal is to give people 1 to 3 free beverages per day, multiply that 10 cents per unit, and there you go. It's enough money to knock those problems out. But our goal isn't to solve this on our own. We actually open sourced all of these concepts. And so our goal is to launch, which we have, and to prove to the world that this is profitable, which we have been doing. And hopefully other people copy us, and they say, well, you know what, we're going to give 15 cents per unit to charity or whatever. And we'll one up them that evening, because we'll always have, people always say, well, what are you going to do when Coca-Cola comes in and they try to squash you like a bug? All we can do is we're always going to have the highest value proposition. So we'll always have the best, greater than free value, that charitable donation.
Isn't that interesting? He welcomes competition, Carl.
Yeah, exactly.
How many entrepreneurs do you know that are afraid of their competition and don't want people doing what they're doing in the same space, right? And here we have a guest that is welcoming competition, because he knows that by the competition in his space, he's going to be able to really conquer that crisis around the world.
Yeah, you know, Josh, when you're talking, I'm just thinking about the training I've been going through in the last couple of months with Think and Grow Rich. And, you know, a couple of things that Napoleon talks about is desire, right? A burning desire. He also talks about creative vision, right? And he also talks about competition. He goes, there really is no competition. It's creative. You can't be creative and competitive at the same time. And, you know, we've all heard it before, right? Real professionals don't compete with anybody except themselves. So I love what you're thinking, and it's a perfect example of, you know, you've got a burning desire to help people, right? You've got creative vision, right? You've developed this thing, and you've creatively done that, and you're looking at you're using your imagination, which is another one of the principles. You know, and who cares what Coca-Cola does, right? I mean, you'll cross that bridge when you get to it. So I really love everything you're saying there.
Yeah, it's you know, we really had to use our imagination, because starting with water, it's a really heavy product. And when you're talking about shipping, that's a logistical nightmare. Every part of the project had to be completely thought out from scratch in order to pull this off. But here we are. And so the beauty is as follows. As I discussed pre-interview, free products enable new types of distribution models. And so one of our next steps is we need to raise $4.7 million to open our first micro factory in Austin, Texas. And that micro facility will enable us to manufacture 150 million boxes of water per year. It'll be quite profitable, but instead of shipping that water all the way across the country, like an Amazon or a Walmart or whomever, that system will actually be a localized factory made to help the local population. And so when your product is free, everybody becomes a customer. Every business within a 3 to 5 mile radius is going to say yes because it's free. It donates to charity. And so right now, if I wanted to send you guys just one bottle, U.S. Postal Service across the country, it could cost roughly $15. I did it the other day. And so when we get into the stage of manufacturing, we're actually going to pay the local community a nickel per person to pick up the water, a nickel per unit per person to pick up the water from us. And so at that stage of the game, you'll pull up in your vehicle. We'll drop in, 100 units, four 24 packs into your trunk, and you're going to leave with a $5 bill. So not only are you getting free product, we're going to pay you to drink free water, and that saves us more than 500% of the cost of the U.S. Postal to ship that sort of product today.
That's crazy.
Right,
Hey,
right.
you've talked about some numbers on this show already that, I think from some aspects people would be afraid of. You're mentioning, just under $10 billion, and that rolls off your tongue like, somebody saying, "Hey, can I borrow five?" You know, so
Well,
it's just interesting where how your mind has gotten to this place and what that you need to accomplish. And maybe or maybe not this is something you've thought through, but what I'd like to know is how can somebody in the multifamily space partner with you to help your mission grow and be a win-win situation.
well, there's many ways. We're obviously we're looking to scale quickly, so we need to find investment from the right smart money investors. We've got a really unique advertising medium here, and so anybody who's already using direct mail or many of the other mediums that exist, they might want to use this for countless reasons. It's really a blank canvas. What I like to tell potential advertisers is it's not a cookie cutter fix for your business or organization. We could set something up extremely uniquely. To give you an example, a guy who was going to run for president in 2016, we spoke to his super PAC, and he had zero money for advertising spend, yet they wanted to bring in revenue. So what we told him is, hey, on the paper cartons, they've got four sides here. If you help us line up advertisers for three sides of that carton, you get that fourth side free. Put your candidate's face there, put a QR code there, give them at the Iowa caucus and all the places that you're going to be going to. And then people are going to scan that free product and make that donation. Or same thing with a hotel. It's the same sort of model. Hotels are currently paying to give away water in plastic bottles. They could line up a few advertisers who are non-competing. Now they've got a free product that they're giving away and selling. It doesn't have to be the typical commercial use. In the future, when there's a humanitarian aid crisis, you'll print the life-saving information directly on the bottle or box. Say, this is where the hospital is. This is how you do a tourniquet. This is how you purify water. This is where the food drops are. This is scan this QR code to get the latest info from your government or vice versa. And so we're really just looking to help expand and get our advertising medium in people's hands, and free water really sells itself. And so anybody looking to get involved as an advertiser will the result will be unparalleled brand loyalty. Because when you give someone free product, when you give someone free value, it's much different than if you harass them via a YouTube commercial or a pop-up ad, or you're in the middle of your favorite movie on TV and now there's 5 minutes of commercials, or you've got that annoying person on the corner who won't let you walk by without taking a flyer. Those are all inconveniences. And even if the advertiser gives you exactly what you want, they're like, hey, Mike, here's this flyer. I've got exactly what you're looking for right here. Your instincts, your natural instincts are going to be to reject that because you've been inconvenienced. But when you're getting free products sent to your doorstep, you're saving money. We're doing it in an eco-friendly manner. We're donating to charity. From that happiness, that money savings, that good feeling, that's when you should be reading that brand Nike or whoever's on the packaging. And so that's the best way that we could help spread the word, is just keep pushing the product out. It's not only more favorable than other ad mediums, but it contributes to a lot of great causes.
Talk about that a little bit more, Josh, about getting free product shipped right to your doorstep. Dig into that a little bit.
So right now we're mainly, the way it works, we've got two models. We've got B2B and B2C. And so as a young startup, we're really dependent on our B2B model, which means companies place an order, they place an order for the aluminum bottles or for the paper cartons, and we ship that product directly to them, and they either resell it or give it away, or the combination of both, depending on their business's needs. We're focusing on B2C in Austin right now. And so that means people literally reach out and we drop 324 packs on their doorsteps.
Nice.
Have you had anybody push back? I mean, have you anybody said, I don't want it? I mean, it seems like it's a no-brainer. I mean, why would anybody not take free water?
There isn't really much pushback. There's never pushback, or very rare pushback, from someone receiving free product. There could be pushback from maybe a potential investor or advertiser saying, well, why hasn't somebody invented this 20 years ago, you know? But no, I mean, people tend to want free product, and it's really high-end spring water, and the same sort of beverage would cost $2.50 per one at a Whole Foods or a Sprouts or any market local. And so why would anybody say no?
Yeah, it's crazy. We pay more, we pay $16, $17, $18 a gallon for water, and people complain about $3 gas. It's nuts. I mean, if you think about it.
So can Carl just get free water sent to his house from you?
We're not built for that today. We're trying to do everything locally. Again, shipping product across the country is not just expensive, it's bad for the environment. And it's not worth it for us or for Carl, because some people are like, hey, I'm such a fan, I'll cover the cost of shipping. But since we're just starting out, our shipping is such low volume that it's not worth it to anybody. But what we're really trying to do is we're trying to really tackle Austin well. We won't even dent that population, but we'll distribute another 25 to 50,000 units in Austin by the end of this year. And then we really need to scale into that micro factory phase, because with those 101 micro factory, a little bit bigger than the size of the McDonald's and its play place and its parking lot, will manufacture 150 million boxes per year at 90 cents per in face value. You're looking at bringing in 125 million in revenue off of a single location, which has nothing to do with the shopping and the other potential revenue streams there. But that micro factory will then create more and expand across the country, and so that's how we intend to scale, by having a small facility in the future in every local neighborhood. You come and pick up the product from us, or we deliver it locally to your doorstep. And then we start adding in other products from there.
Well, I love it. Ray Kroc's, one of Ray Kroc's famous sayings was, and I'm sure you've heard this before, when they said, why are you in the hamburger business? You said, I'm not in the hamburger business. I'm in the real estate business. So, let me know when you want to franchise these, because I think that'd be a great franchise model. I mean, people, if I'm in Cleveland and I want to open up one of these locations, geez, I mean, that's got to beat the heck out of a McDonald's.
It's really just elaborating on water, as you mentioned, it costs more than oil. People like to argue that, but it's the only product I've ever found where water sells for 2,000 times the price of tap water minimum. So if you spend $1 on a bottle of water, that's like the same thing as you spending $5,000 on a slice of pizza, or $2 million for your next iPhone. You would never do that. Yet I was at the airport coming to LA the other day, and I spent $7 on a bottle, which would it would be like a $25 million iPhone right there. And
yeah,
so
Carl, get this right. I'm out for a bike ride last weekend, or the weekend before, and I'm down by North Avenue Beach, and I stopped to get a bottle of water, and a little bottle of water, $3.50. I'm like, really? What happened to the 50-cent, $1, 2 for $1 bottles, right? Gone.
And just like Carl was saying about, the McDonald's founder, Ray Kroc, it is a real estate play. But McDonald's is obviously based on the physical real estate of each location. This is a real estate play of the real estate of every type of product's physical packaging.
Mhm.
And so imagine what next time you're down the grocery store and you walk down, just for example, the cereal box section or the chip section. You're looking at boxes of cereal that are so large, they're twice the size of the actual product in the packaging. And then if you just took junk mail and glued it onto there at the typical price of what that company sent you that piece of junk mail, it's actually twice as profitable to just paste that junk mail to that box. They'll get way more impressions. And so it's a very unique time because we crossed the threshold of a lot of things to get here, but basically for the marginal cost of manufacturing, for that cost to manufacturing one unit after you own the machinery to get so cheap that it's actually cheaper than junk mail at scale now to give people these products.
One thing I know is Austin is a good market to be launching this in because, you know, there's a lot of things that come out of that Austin market. And I think you got a great combination on a platform that will just benefit you well. So,
Well, we were told to head out there from the Bay Area. They said, you know, Austin likes to keep it weird, and a free supermarket would definitely fit in well there. And it's a lovely place, and people in Texas love their beer. And so our third product will be free beer, and I believe free beer in Texas, let alone anywhere else, will be a major hit.
yeah. Well, that's an interesting concept. Free beer. Carl, you'd be all over that, wouldn't you?
Free beer, absolutely, 100%.
We I think we know a lot of people too that would love that. So
Yeah.
what's the next step for you, Josh, right now? What are you working on?
So what we're working on right now is just like any social network or any ad-based social network, we're growing our audience here. And so our next goal to reach, we're trying to reach about 250,000 subscribers to our website in the lower 48 states. And that's enough to just give the major ad agencies a big enough taste where we could start to get them supporting this. Right now, all of our advertisers, for the most part, are smaller businesses, although some major players are now starting to reach out and ask for some quotes from us. We just gave a quote to Warner Brothers the other day. We've got some big insurance companies on the line this week. And so we're just growing that audience just like any other social network. And so that way we could have some more ability. It's the larger our audience, the more our real estate is also worth as well. And so it kind of goes hand in hand. There's a lot of unanswered questions. I'll ask you guys the questions. Maybe we can figure them out on the air. But you know, if you buy a bottle of water in Manhattan right now at a 7-Eleven or whatever, you might pay as much as 10 or 12 bucks. But if you go and you buy a bottle of water in, let's say, a Flint, Michigan, maybe it's 75 cents or $1. So in the future, when we've got our back pocket full of advertisers and bidding algorithms like Google AdWords, are the boxes or bottles of real estate going to go for 10 bucks in Manhattan while they go for $1 in less affluent areas like Flint? It's a supply and demand. It's a weird real estate question. And then also, you know, with Super Bowl, the biggest Super Bowl of all time was around 117 million for a Patriots game a few years back. And not all of those people are glued to the TV, and it's not individualized content either. You've got people who are vegans looking at KFC commercials and people who don't drink seeing a ton of Budweiser commercials. But when we've got an audience size where that Super Bowl sized audience, each receiving, you know, free water, free groceries, free products every single day, not only with individualized advertisements printed on the packaging, but even more individualized when you scan the QR code and engage with the platform. Can we charge Super Bowl prices for our real estate in the future by the minute? I've been told we can. Only time will tell, but these are things that have never been done or tested. And so it's just exciting to kind of be tinkering with them.
Wow, very cool. Good for you guys. Hey, can people find you on social media right now?
Yeah, you could find us on Instagram at free_water_ for everybody. Our fastest growing account is actually TikTok right now. a lot, the younger crowd and young people really like free products, and that one's freewater.io. Our website's freewater.io as well.
TikTok's pretty interesting. Carl, you spend any time on TikTok?
I mean, not really. My kids, I have teenagers. My kids are on there, but
Yeah.
not. I'm having a hard enough time getting on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny though. Social media is just like crazy these days, and some of the things on TikTok are funny. I mean, just funny.
Yeah,
Some people put together some really good content.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing what people watch. But I love the idea because it's you're right. I mean, the Super Bowl, it's crazy. Or the Indianapolis 500, what people pay for advertising, and if you can divert some of that, and if I'm the guy writing that check from Coca-Cola or from Budweiser, and you can show a higher ROI at a lower cost or whatever. I mean, I really just take my hat off to you. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. So, and again, I think the most exciting part about it is it's open source. And so the goal with that was just how can we get the Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Nestle's to copy as quick as humanly possible, and hopefully copy with that donation to charity, most importantly. But we've launched, it's open source. Other startups in Austin or the Bay Area will come out and copy, and collectively, that's going to put a lot of pressure on the Cokes or Pepsis who are not giving away the water for free. They don't have an opportunity to make as much money as we do, and then they're going to be like, "Wait a minute, this isn't even patentable. Hey, let's join the fun." And so they've already got the economies of scale set up. They've already, they're producing or printing. I like to say, because it's an ad medium, how many cans of Coke daily?
Hey, Josh, what caused you to want to walk down this road? What happened for you in your life that was a defining moment that you said, "Man, I just want to make a difference in the world"?
I had always been wanting to be helpful. I founded a couple of different nonprofits in the past. One was a gym in LA to help with obese children, and it was really just volunteering. My wife and I, we volunteered a ton with these refugees, as we discussed, and it's great when you help somebody, but it didn't feel great that we didn't solve the underlying issue.
Ooh.
And so again, that's the beauty with this product is when we get 10% of Americans to save money, not even spend money, but save money, we could save millions of lives a year. When you research it, 20 million people die every year because they don't have water, food, or basic medicine. When I mean basic medicine, I mean a bar of soap. Soap and water is medicine for something like 5 million children a year die because they don't have just a bar of soap. And so, to be able to make something, the goal was to change the way nonprofits operated. Because let's say you wanted to make a donation to your favorite nonprofit today, whatever that may be. You find them on Google, you go to the website, you got to hit the donate now button. Then you got to do the step no one wants to do. You got to put your name, your credit card information. Then you hit the donate now button. It's going to say, "Hey, Mike, do you want to donate once a month, once a day, once a week, once a year?" You just say, this once a year. You had to get through a dozen steps to make that donation. And so the goal was, hey, let's make saving a life as easy as drinking a free beer. If I saved a life every time I drank a free beer, I would have saved a good amount of lives by now. No credit card, no anything. Let's just make that donation. Let's let the nonprofits do what they want to do, follow their mission, and just be a catalyst for that. I think the goal was just the inspiration was just unfortunately seeing a bunch of people at their last leg with nothing going for them in their lives. And as you guys said, feeling extremely grateful for the way that we grew up. I mean, we could walk over to a faucet and turn on that water anytime. If anytime we're hungry, we go to the supermarket, we buy something. It's that simple. And it's just amazing to think that even in this world where we're doing this live podcast right now, millions of people die every year because they don't have a bar of soap.
Yeah, and what's interesting is Hey, I was on a call this morning where the call kicked off about, hey, what are the three things in life that you're most grateful for, right? And I thought, geez, well, the biggest thing that I'm grateful for is that my feet hit the ground this morning and that I'm full of life and energy, right? Where there's some people that just don't have the simple basic things that we have. And like I said early on, we take that stuff for granted, and we really need to be grateful to those around us. And and God, I'm grateful for this mission that you're on, and free water, and what you guys are doing to make an impact in the world.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
good. And what's your wife's background? I mean, if I may ask.
uh, her background is actually she's just getting into software development now. She studied sociology back in college, so she is always big on volunteering, and that's how we met. You could meet. I guess you could meet a good partner by volunteering and doing stuff like that, as opposed to buying someone a drink at the bar. Who would have ever guessed it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I spent yesterday with my 16-year-old daughter and her nanny at Feed My Hungry Children. They spent the whole day stuffing boxes with. I think they said they stuffed 278 meals or something like that. And I think I really believe that we should do more of that. I mean, I think something very, very important comes out of volunteering and helping people. And I'm a big proponent of just everybody do one good deed. Just do a small good deed a day. Just do something nice for somebody. Or help somebody, because when you give that gift, you get a gift back. And I think that a lot of people are so wrapped up with what kind of car they're driving and what neighborhood they live in, and how good looking their wife is or their husband, or how much money they have in the bank. And those things at the end of the day are not really important. What's important is helping people, and feeling good about what you do every day. And yeah, I mean, I think it's something that more people should really do, is just, even if you just do it one day a year, just go through. And I just want to say one other thing about that. Years ago, I met a guy from Scotland, and he was a very successful guy, and very interesting guy. There was some product, I can't remember if it was an automobile or some piece of machinery, but every one that shipped to the United States, he got money for it. And he was fabulously wealthy, right? Tons of money. And I remember one day he told me, I said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" He goes, "I'm going to the homeless shelter." I said, "What are you doing? What are you going to do that for?" He says, "I go and spend one weekend there a year." He goes, I go there. Nobody knows who I am. I go there one weekend a year, and just to humble myself, right? And I was very impressed with that, because he said, regardless of how much I have or how much I've earned, it's humbling. He said, because I came to this country with nothing, and it's to me, I was very impressed with that, because it's when you help somebody else, or when you volunteer, you humble yourself, right, in the service of others. So I just wanted to share that story.
Yeah, it's a great story, that's for sure.
it's,
And I think some of us could probably afford to go a little more often than once a year, even, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just like you said, what you get back is, I think it's really selfish. I think the most selfish, it sounds weird, but the most selfish thing you could do is help a complete stranger, because the feedback loop that you get, the response that you get, um, you don't get that feeling in your day-to-day life, unfortunately, anymore. I
Right.
mean, I'm sure certain people do if you're a teacher or fireman, or you've got that right gig where you're Captain Americaing it all the time, and you're always saving someone's life, or yeah, sure, doctor. But for the rest of us, it's important. And I mean, we're at a really interesting crossroad right now, where obviously everyone needs money, and you need money for retirement, and you need money for everything else, but it's not everything. And so it could buy a lot, it can't buy you your sanity. And so for me personally, I couldn't have come as far as we did, as fast as we did with this project, if it was just for money, because I was semi-retired. I actually have a pension, a disability pension from the U.S. Army, because I got hurt in the military. And so when it was time for my wife and I to work on these things, we were actually pretty retired, living on the beach in Mediterranean, in a small country called Montenegro. So it was that much harder, because it's like, hey, we already hit retirement zone. All we're doing is enjoying our life, and so it's like, do you really want to end retirement, or end what we've work to get to do this wild thing. And the only thing that I could tell myself was if I have to, because if not, I would I would regret it. Because it's, imagine if you had stumbled across something that could save millions of lives a year. Are you gonna, it's a moonshot, but are you gonna work on it, or are you just gonna let it pass just because, you don't want to rock the boat? So
yeah, Napoleon Hill talks about passion and purpose. He says, and this is what he says. He says, passion is something that you love doing. Like for me, it's ice skating. I'm a hockey guy. If I could just skate every day, I'd be in heaven, because I get out on the ice and it's like a bomb can go off, right? For me, that's my passion. But he says purpose is your passion going beyond yourself. It's bigger than you, right? It's something that's going to outlive you. It's something that's beyond your own personal satisfaction. And I think that's so true. You know what I mean? And I really get that not only are you passionate about this, but on some level, I think this is your purpose. I mean, this part of what you're doing is your purpose. And I really, it's really great to see that you're following that.
It's been a journey, for sure. But it's, like I said, more than anything, it's exciting. It's exciting that we're going to break some ground on our first water wells that we're building for people soon. I think it's a tough time with the pandemic. It'll be more exciting in the coming years when we get to visit those people that we never met, that, hey, we built all these water wells in Africa and here and there, and see the impact that that's going to make on people. And then it's just exciting from a financial observation. I'm that crazy guy telling you, hey, everything that you're purchasing in the store today in the near future is going to be available. It's not free because it's advertising. If there's advertising, that means we're the product, so different than Facebook. But these things will be free. And so there's so many ways that people could capitalize on that marketplace. My wife and I, we actually own what we believe is the most valuable real estate in the future, because anything with the free like www.freewater.com, freepizza.com, freemedicine.com, we own hundreds of those in every single top language. So we own free water, free soda, free beer, free rice, free noodles, free medicine, free pizza in Chinese and German. And, there's so many plays that are, the whole financial market is about to kind of get flipped on its head. People talk about how Bitcoin really forced the big banks and the financial institutions to start changing the way they do business. This is going to change every retailer as we know it today.
Man.
That's awesome. So listen, where can people reach you? We're getting kind of towards the end of the program. I want to make sure that we put that in the chat. Is there a website, or what's the best way?
Yeah, the best way to reach out is at www.freewater.io. Fill out a contact form. If you guys want some product, we'll definitely get it out to you, especially if you're Austin based, we'll deliver it ourselves. And if you're interested in advertising or getting involved in building our first micro factory, please reach out and we'll set up a call.
What was that? www.freewater.io. Okay, great.
This is going to be we're gonna incorporate a cryptocurrency in the future, and so .io is actually more common in the blockchain world.
Nice, interesting. That's technology, that's for sure. Well, Josh, thanks for being here today. It's really good to catch up again. You and I met a couple months back and had a great conversation, and had really had a chance to tell Carl about you. And I'm glad that you were here today and be able to share this. And we'll keep plugging you a little bit and seeing if we can help drive some people over to your side to do some advertising and help be helpful in your mission and where you're headed. So, but I know we appreciate what you're doing for sure.
Yeah, keep up the good work, Josh. You're making a difference for people. That's the key thing.
Thanks for having us, and I look forward to growing with you guys in the future, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your summer.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you. And hey, everybody, thanks for listening in this morning, and we'll be here next Saturday again. Next week, we have some more multifamily players, and Carl and I will dig deep, drill down a little bit, and get some more information. But hey, listen, meantime, do something nice for somebody else today, would you? Be kind. It doesn't cost you anything to love somebody or to be a little bit kind. And, uh, reach out and see what you can do. Hey, Josh, again, thanks for being here. Carl, as always, good to see you. And we will look forward to catching up soon.
Yep. See you guys.
Great to meet you.